Hello my trans non-binary lesbians. Today, we will be talking about what's wrong with elementary schooling. Before we go into it, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more content, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. As you may know, school is a place where children go to learn numerous subjects such as math, reading, writing, science, social studies, etc. But school isn't as good as it's portrayed out to be, and there's several things with our educational system that needs work. So what exactly do we need to change? Stay tuned to find out. The school curriculum in most schools right now is terrible. The first subject that we are going to talk about is math. Math is by far the most racist school subject out there. There's tons of proof and evidence showing math is linked to white supremacy. One example of this is the math problem 2 plus 2 equals 4. This is clearly rooted in white supremacy and hatred. As a whole, we should get rid of math in the curriculum and replace it with something else. The subject that we should replace math with is Drag Queen Story Hour. It's so important that we incorporate this into schools because it will help improve our diversity, and if we start incorporating this as early as preschool and kindergarten, then we can convert more kids into the LGBTQ2SIA plus WXYZ agenda as efficiently as possible. Plus, this will allow kids to enhance their reading skills even more. Speaking of reading, that's the next subject we are going to talk about. We can keep reading in school, however books and articles with cis straight white people need to go because all of those people are racists. Instead, we should have books and articles that include diversity, such as including people of color, homosexuality, trans people, non-binaries, gender fluids, etc. Some good books that should be incorporated into school libraries include but are not limited to The Gay BCs, Anti-Racist Baby, and Santa's Husband. Some advanced books would be good as well, such as White Rage, or The Story of Kamala Harris. The next subject is science. Although science does have a history of transphobia, homophobia, and racism, we should still teach science, but just not that version of science. Conservative fascist science has had such fallacies such as how there are only two genders or how only women can get pregnant. We should teach students how there are many genders in our society and that men can also get pregnant. We must also include the history of Dr. Anthony Fauci because he is the creator of the science and has done such a great job keeping us all safe. The last subject that needs change is social studies. We need to completely change the curriculum. My solution is that the first semester students learn about critical race theory and Black history and completely remove any white history. Also, students will do a project on why Black people can't be racist. The second semester will include LGBTQ2SIAP plus WXYZ history. Students this semester will also be forced to identify as one of the letters included in the LGBTQ2SIAP plus WXYZ group. As you may know, diversity is our strength. We love all people of color, non-binaries, and members of the LGBTQ2SIAP plus WXYZ community. Straight white people are evil though. Here is some of what I hope will be incorporated into schools soon. I'm hoping to include a brand new grading scale titled the Harvard Grading Structure. Based on this chart, Black people's final grade will have a 20% increase. For example, if a Black student had a 70% in a class, they will be bumped up to a 90%. Asians, however, are too smart, so they will get a 10% deduction to their final grade, meaning that they would need a perfect score to get an A in the class. When it comes to lining up in a single file line at school, students must follow this order: Black students in the front, followed by Asian students, then Hispanic students, and then finally white students. This also applies in the lunch lines and on the school buses. The reason behind this is that we want to teach all of the white kids about systemic racism and to teach them that they should always pay their reparations to Black students. Any white student that does not follow these rules will be sent to the principal's office for insubordination and will receive a referral. In addition, all schools must also have a George Floyd statue to honor him and the Black Lives Matter organization and movement. If any student who is not black touches or vandalizes the George Floyd statue, they will have to take part in a ritual where the school principal must place a knee on the student's neck until the student is no longer breathing. The student won't be alive once the ritual is completed, but it will teach them a lesson that you must never disrespect the legend of George Floyd. No justice. No peace. According to Anthony the Science Fauci, we are still fighting tough times during COVID, and the new monkeypox virus is extremely deadly and will kill us all. In order to keep everyone safe, students would need to wear at least 3 masks. More than 3 masks is encouraged but not required. These masks shown are some of but not all of the types of masks that students should be wearing. Any student who wears a mask that is not related to the following examples will receive an after-school detention. Any student who wears a Trump mask will receive an automatic F in all of their courses throughout the school year. Students must also be required to have their COVID vaccine with at least 2 boosters. Any student that isn't fully vaccinated to these standards will be locked in an empty closet all day until the school day ends. There will be some new changes to the pledge. There is not only the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America, but we will also have a Pledge of Allegiance to Ukraine and Zelensky, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and to Black Lives Matter. Because the U.S. is a country built on white supremacy, everyone will take a knee during the U.S. Pledge of Allegiance, but for all of the other pledges, all students will stand with your hand over your heart. Any student who does not follow these rules will be sent to the principal's office and will receive a referral. All students will also be required to complete 10 hours of community service before they complete elementary school. At least 4 out of the 10 hours must be spent at a BLM rally. BLM rallies are fun for children as they can bond with several other BLM and Antifa members. It's also educational as it will teach all students why white people and cops are loser racists. Depending on where students live, they could even break into certain stores like Target and steal some TVs if they wanted to. The riots are also good for white students who want to pay their reparations to black students. There is also a big reward for the top female black student in the country. They will get to go on an all-expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. where they will get to spend the day with President Joe Biden, which includes eating ice cream, hanging out in the pool, and hanging out in the basement. They will also get to meet Hunter Biden, Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi throughout the day. This is such an incredible award, so if your child is a black female, make sure that you encourage them to chase after this award. So you might be wondering, what should a student be like when they complete a School My Way? A student should need to fight against all of the transphobia and homophobia. A student should treat people of color better than white people, especially black people. A student should be against Donald Trump. A student should be voting blue in every election. Here is an example of how every student should act when they leave school.
I'm in a college and I use the word. I'm so sorry. Jennifer Poppe, who's a pediatrician in Flower Mound.
You can't do that with my friends. No, you can go away. You can go away. Yes, thank you.
No, he can go anywhere he wants.
No, he cannot. No, you're my friend. I say no, get out. Go away.
Arm's length. Everybody's an arm's length, please.
I'm with the arms.
Don't you dare! Don't you record my friends.
She did grab my camera.
Record me.
Pete.
Hey, police, I just got spit on.
I just want to applaud these brave women for what they have done. For those who don't know, this Jeff Younger guy is a transphobic because he's mad that his 7-year-old former son is now a girl. Jeff lost custody of his child because he was too transphobic. I applaud these queer and trans allies for not giving in to Younger's transphobic ideologies. I especially love the one woman that spat right in his face. Bravo. Unfortunately, she lives in a homophobic and transphobic state like Texas, but if she lived in California, she would be getting a Medal of Freedom. Well done to these allies. That's it for this video. Hopefully school board members across the country will consider my ideas, and if they approve of them, then it will take us one step closer to improving our democracy. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for my next video.